Well, he won the Iowa caucus in a state that's 97% white, and you looked at that and said, oh boy, this guy can win this thing. He really can. And then the polls had him up about 15 points in New Hampshire, which was just 5 days later. And what happened? Hillary Clinton comes from behind and scores an upset win in New Hampshire.
Right.
You never really saw one of them take a commanding lead. It just seesawed back and forth, and that was the most fascinating part of the race.
I imagine it was given two potential firsts there.
Yeah.
So now he's got a lot on his plate. And we just saw that he's very popular, doing very well after 4 days.
That's the most ridiculous poll they've ever taken. How are you doing after 3 days? Well, you know, come on.
Well, they are, you know, looking at every single moment and every single thing he's doing. But given where he was, you know, when he started, no one could have imagined that he would have this much on his plate to start with. So he's really going to have to hit the ground running in order to keep the American people in his favor.
And that's not just the difficulty for Obama, it's the difficulty for any president. I mean, 6 weeks ago, did anybody foresee the conflict we have in Gaza right now, okay? So all of a sudden, issues come to the forefront. They go to the top of the agenda when they weren't even on the radar screen 2 months ago. The other problem for him is, of course, at one end of Pennsylvania Avenue, you have 535 members of Congress. At the other end, you have one president. And sometimes you have to make very difficult decisions, even that conflict with members of your own party, and it upsets people. They're immediately disappointed. For example, we had protesters in San Francisco last week who were angry with Obama, and these were liberals, angry because he's not going to close Guantanamo prison fast enough to meet their expectations. And so that's the dilemma of being president. Sometimes you have to do things that are very unpopular.
Let's look at the McCain campaign. The choice of Sarah Palin out of left field. It surprised all the pundits. You had to be surprised by this, or did you have an inkling that this was coming?
Actually, 3 weeks before he picked her, I wrote a column on my blog that he was going to pick a woman, because there was this great disaffection out there among female voters, especially Hillary Clinton supporters, who felt that it was her time or a woman's time and that Obama had essentially skipped ahead in line. And so McCain was trying to capitalize on that. And I picked Sarah Palin, Kay Bailey Hutchinson, and Susan Collins, two senators and a governor, as the three finalists. And he picked Palin. Now, if I were him, I would have picked Kay Bailey Hutchinson of Texas, who has been in the U.S. Senate since 1992, someone with a lot more experience. But I think as a political, tactical move, picking a woman was a smart move by McCain. He really needed to generate some buzz and do something different and exciting. I mean, had he picked Romney or Huckabee, I think people would have said, oh, there you go, two old white guys again, and it would have been a snooze.
And of course, they'll argue that
so she energized the campaign.
Right.
Ultimately, she is not the reason he lost. The reason he lost is the economy went over the Niagara Falls in a barrel on September 16th, and that was it.
So the book you wrote is called The Age of Obama.
Yes.
What are you defining as that? I mean, what is that, the age of Obama?
I think we're going to find out. I think we're going to find out. And anybody who purports to know already, I think, is delusional.
Well, throw out a few supposes.
Well, I think one of the most fascinating things about this campaign was how the internet factored in, how Obama used it to raise money, how he used it to continually message and get his message out to his supporters and backers, and how we as reporters covered it. I mean, it was fascinating. You talk about a difference between the candidates. Every day I would get at least 2 emails from the Obama campaign, sometimes 3. When they merged their email list with Hillary Clinton's, which was very smart, I was inundated every day with information. Do you know that in the final 60 days of the campaign, I received one email from John McCain's campaign. I know.
Well, he did say he wasn't up to speed on the internet.
Well, we're talking about his campaign managers and staff.
Democrats and Republicans alike need to get up to speed. The internet is the future of how campaigns are done. It is the centerpiece of the campaign in terms of fundraising, message, and media.
Yeah.
So that's the way. That'll be the age of Obama.
Yeah, that looks like it's going to be a fascinating time.
We understand you have a book signing coming up.
Yes, I have a book signing at Rakestraw Books in Danville. That's coming up Friday, February 7th at 7 p.m. And that Lafayette Books in Lafayette, that's February 8th, a Sunday afternoon from 3 to 5. We're going to have a book signing party, so we'll have some wine and treats and stuff to eat and have a good time.
It sounds like you had fun with the book too.
I had a blast. I mean, it was a road trip. It was a road trip of a lifetime being on the campaign as a freelancer. You know, I wasn't like my friends at CNN and Fox who were getting catered meals and being chauffeured around in limousine. I was in a dumpy rental car doing drive-through meals. I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
I loved it. I had the time of my life.
And you have a terrific book to come out of that.
Yeah.
Mark, thank you so much. Mark Curtis, thanks for joining us.
Good to see you both. Thank you.
Good to have you. Thanks, yeah.